Hello, colleagues. David Violet here with note-taking for consecutive interpreting and interpreting overall. And I'm going to talk about interpreting in general today. It's about confidentiality. When our clients call upon us, they need our assistance in order to overcome the language barrier. Now, it's sort of like when they need to do a show, they might have to hire a cameraman who would be professional enough to be able to take some really great shots of them, let's say if they're doing theater or something. Well, they're trusting that camera person not to go outside then and share all the recordings with the rest of the world. And that's similar for us. When somebody hires us to help them overcome the language barrier, they trust that we will not go out and start talking about everything that we heard. As a matter of fact, if we do, I suppose we could be sued, but it's almost certain that if word gets back to them, not only will they not hire you again, but you're doing damage to all of us, because they will start to reason in the following manner. Hey, we better figure out another way to do this rather than hiring interpreters, because those people go out and talk about it, and we'll never be able to keep anything confidential. When I was in interpreting school, one of my professors, Christopher Thierry, used to tell us about how actually the good interpreters were well known to never share anything. And even when the press really wanted to know something, they pretty much knew no point in trying to get it out of the interpreters. I had an experience along those lines myself when I was in the peace negotiations in Angola. Sometimes the press would come and ask us things, and of course we would just walk away. It's quite dangerous, actually, to be an interpreter who enjoys the limelight too much, who enjoys showing off the things that he or she has seen or heard, or the prestigious events that he or she has been to or interpreted for. It's not a good thing to cultivate that kind of personality trait. And that brings me to one of the main points of my talk today, which is that with the advent of social media, this has become more of a problem than it used to be. You no longer need to have a journalist coming up to you and asking you for something. You no longer need a particular party or event where you can show off the places you've been or the things that you know. You can now just get on your keyboard and type it out there and even take pictures. There have been a lot of cases that we have seen lately of interpreters posting pictures and saying where they are and where they are interpreting. And we are playing with fire when we do that. And let me give you an example. If, for example, I am based in San Francisco, but I happen to have a conference in Los Angeles, and I say, hey, everybody, I'm in Los Angeles working for Airbus, for example. And then let's say that Boeing is aware that Airbus is trying to sell to a company that's based in Los Angeles, and they happen to see my post, or one of my friends is a friend of a friend, or even one of my friends or family members says, hey, this is interesting information. They're having a meeting, Airbus is having a meeting in Los Angeles. Maybe they're having it with that specific company, and this means something. It could also just be speculators on the stock exchange. They are always looking for any kind of information, and as a matter of fact, insider trading is when you get information you're not normally entitled to, and you use that to illegally trade equities. So we as interpreters, when we take a picture of the venue and show it on Facebook, for example, that might be enough to tip people off. This person normally is based in San Francisco. At this particular point, very sensitive point in our negotiations, he is now in Los Angeles with Airbus, our competitor, and one of the contracts we're competing for, is with a Los Angeles-based company. and they'll start putting two and two together. My point is, we don't know. We, the interpreters, do not know what is sensitive. So we should not post anything on Facebook about where we are. Now, there may be some exceptions about events that are absolutely public. For example, a United Nations conference on human rights or something where it's actually so well known that you're not even showing anything that anybody couldn't know, or maybe the press is all there already. That may be the case. But even in cases like that, I believe that the rule should be that we just don't know what might tip somebody off to a piece of information, and might be, without our knowing it, a betrayal of our client. So that is why we have an ironclad rule about confidentiality. We do not talk about what we have learned in meetings. And this today is particularly sensitive with social media, where it's so easy to just take a picture, click, 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 and now it's all over the world. So please, colleagues, do take care with this. Be professional. Protect your reputation, protect your credibility, and protect the credibility and the reputation of the profession. Protect it for all of us. All right, take care. See you soon.